It may be that lately you have been feeling a deep, dense, almost palpable emptiness. It is a strange and heavy apathy that prevents you from feeling enthusiasm for everything that previously seemed to be the unshakable engine of your life. Yesterday's ambitions have lost their shine. Habitual distractions seem superficial, and the first question your anxious mind raises is, "What is broken in me? Have I failed?" But allow me to offer a revelation that reinterprets this pain, transforming it into strength. The emptiness you feel is not a sign of collapse, but the sound, the silent roar of your old self crumbling in a deep and necessary process of transformation to give way to something infinitely greater. This is the most unmistakable and legitimate sign of spiritual awakening. The ancestral authority of Lao Tzu, the master of the Tao, taught us millennia ago a fundamental principle that is the core of this transition of yours. The essential value of the bowl lies in its emptiness. He shows us that the utility and function of any container reside precisely in the space that is not filled, in its unmanifested potential. Your current lack of interest, this internal silence that refuses to be animated by the old rewards of the self, is exactly that space. It is life. It is the universe cleaning your inner vessel for the arrival of a more authentic and real purpose. The male dilemma is that we have been programmed culturally and biologically to fill any and all emptiness immediately. The impulse is always to seek noise, ambition, or the most immediate distraction, just to avoid the uncomfortable quietness of not doing. But this emptiness you feel now is sacred. It is the vacuum of transition, the space of the old self's death that precedes the beginning of true spiritual growth. The symbolic image that must guide your consciousness is the chrysalis. The caterpillar must, by the force of nature, feel that its former life has lost all meaning and all color, so that flight, its essential transformation, can finally begin. You are in the necessary and safe darkness, the silent and empty moment between the life that was, the life of the self that was defined by the external, and the life that will be, the life that is defined by consciousness. In the next few minutes, you will understand the unshakable principle that frees any man from the identification with suffering and directs him toward inner change with dignity and peace. The guiding question that must dissolve your old perspective is, how can you honor this emptiness and transform it from a feeling of loss into a powerful portal for your spiritual awakening? If this message has already resonated with your inner truth, leave a like now. This simple action helps spread consciousness to others who are seeking the same surrender.
The pain of apathy that afflicts you is not a moral collapse. It is an inevitable symptom of the symbolic death of artificial desire. What men feel but do not name is the sudden and heavy disconnection from everything that once seemed vital. Life loses its color because your soul is refusing to look through the addicted lens that saw value only in the material, the transient, and the recognition of the social self. You feel that competition and status have lost importance because the center of gravity of your life has moved from outside to inside. The most urgent conflict that assails your mind is the fear that this lack of interest is, in fact, clinical depression. But it is crucial for your inner change that you learn to distinguish. Depression wants to stop life, freeze movement, paralyze existence. Spiritual transition wants to stop the artificial self, the mask you wore, to liberate life. Master Huineng, with the legitimacy of emptiness, offers ancient wisdom. Zen teaches no mind, not fixing thought on anything. Your detachment, this feeling of letting go, is your brain and spirit refusing to spend energy on what has no soul, on what is not essential and no longer serves your spiritual growth. The autumn leaves do not fight to stay green. They do not cling to the glory of summer. They practice total surrender. They let go to allow the next season to arrive. Your lack of interest is the clearest of the signs of awakening. Your soul has overcome your old self's toys. If you recognize yourself in this transformation, stay with me until the end. There is a truth that will free you from fear and guide you toward peace. The growth you yearn for resides paradoxically in the power of non-being. This is the transforming principle of Lao Tzu. Value lies in what is missing, in what has been subtracted. Emptiness is the key to fullness. A door that is without anything, without barriers of old beliefs, and without the obligations of the old self, is the only one that can be opened for awakening. This is the inversion of logic that frees you from futile effort. You do not find purpose by seeking it feverishly, chasing it like a prize. You find it by creating space for it to enter, for it to manifest in stillness. Inner emptiness, this feeling of lack of interest and silence, is your greatest and most potent creative tool at this beginning.
Think of the symbol of the vessel. Your old self was a cup full of dirty water from other people's ambitions and expectations, from social rules that were never yours. Life, with the force of transition, has emptied it. Do not try to refill it immediately with the first distraction. Do not replace the old addiction with a new one. Just allow it to dry, to rest, so that you can fill it with something pure and authentic, born of your own consciousness. The psychological connection of this truth is your peace. Peace is the end of the struggle, the end of the identification with the rigid role of who you thought you were. It is the surrender to the real self. Mini epiphany. Your emptiness is not absence, it is absolute presence, without the old demands of the old self. The possible transformation happens when the man who embraces emptiness turns passive disinterest into focused and potent observation. Honoring the ritual of quietude is your most radical practice of detachment and growth. The everyday example, the action point, is simple. Instead of forcing motivation to start a project or seeking the adrenaline of distraction, you commit to the minute of nothing. Doing nothing is the most radical and necessary action in this moment of overcoming your old self. The real micro-practice is the ritual of non-filling. This ritual is intentional silence. Choose a moment in your day for 5 minutes and strictly forbid yourself from picking up your phone, turning on the television, seeking food, or starting an argument. Allow yourself to be bored and empty. It is in boredom, in that uncomfortable silence where the old self kicks and screams, that the soul can finally whisper the path of your spiritual growth. The inner change happens when you move from the noise of self-demand to the lucidity of inner listening. You are training yourself to be the unshakable consciousness and not the reactive self.
If the concept of honoring emptiness resonated with your inner change, subscribe so we can continue to forge this path.
Close your eyes for an instant and feel your body rooted, the weight of your existence here and now. Breathe deep, slow and profound, allowing the inertia of your breath to anchor you. Notice the emptiness that is created after the exhale. Awakening resides in that space of silence between the breaths. Your old self cannot exist in that pure, present moment. The peace you sought was not a feeling, but the space between your thoughts. It is the relief of finally letting go of the struggle. The anchoring phrase is your strength and surrender. You are here, now. Feel the consciousness that is not turbulence. Your inner change is a fait accompli. Your old self is dying because the conscious self needs to be born. Emptiness is not the end, but the safe darkness where the seed of your future is germinating in a process of spiritual growth that cannot be rushed. The unified lesson, Lao Tzu and Huneng, is your new wisdom. The value of emptiness, Lao Tzu, is what allows the non-fixed mind, Huneng. Your greatest strength now is your ability to let go, to practice detachment and surrender, and to wait quietly for your beginning to arrive. The inner reinforcement is that your conquest is the unconditional acceptance of your emptiness. Do not fill it. Do not run from it. Remain in it and see what essential will emerge for your transformation. This transition is the proof of your overcoming your old self. Peace is the only consequence of your surrender. The mind that resists inner change suffers. The mind that accepts transition and emptiness finds peace. Silence is the language of your growing self. You are in the silence between the notes. The new sound, the new life, the real beginning is coming. Subscribe and comment renewal if you feel this truth and are ready to embrace your spiritual awakening.